It's 6 months from D-Day, and I've never shared this story in detail, not with a family member or a friend. Not even my psychiatrist got this much detail. FYI, this is very long. No advice sought, just getting it off my chest. It was the summer of 2012, and I was away from home, driving a tractor-trailer over the road, OTR, cross-country, while she was at home and working summer school. I hated being away from her and my family, but needed this job to provide for my family. I would call her several times a day just to hear her voice and tell her how much I missed her. In July 2012, she had started the extended school year, ESY, and was assigned a new teacher. The teacher was a younger, 29 male, and she said he was good-looking. She, of course, never told me this, but during discovery, she said this. She said she was impressed by the new teacher's passion for the special needs kids in her class. This was something that she was passionate about as well. She said that as they worked together, he would pass compliments to her about her looking nice or doing something new to her hair. She admitted that she welcomed the compliments and enjoyed them. This puzzled me because I constantly gave her compliments on her looks, especially her hair. They ended up working closely during the ESY, and then school was finished until September. I finished my OTR assignment and was stationed close to home on a dedicated route. This meant I would go out daily and be home at night. While I was home, our relationship seemed normal to me. We had our petty disagreements, but we also had our moments of love and even frequent sex. I had no idea she had formed this relationship with the new teacher, shitbag. She never offered any information about her work, even when I would inquire about her class assignment. September came, and she returned to school, and within a week my youngest sister died. I quit the trucking job and took some time off to clear my head and grieve the loss of my sister. Then in early October, I took a job out of state as a crane operator. I didn't want to go or take the job, but financially it was the right thing to do, so I thought. I packed up my car and told my family goodbye and let my wife know how much I hated leaving her. Then off to Texas I went. So while I was away working, she was developing a closer relationship with shitbag. She said they were friends and she felt like she could talk to him and confide in him about her personal life. They eventually would meet at the park and talk while she pushed my granddaughter around in the stroller. As time passed and October turned to November, her relationship with shitbag became sexual. They were in the classroom one day and he said to her, "We should kiss." And so she did. Just like that, with no thought of her marriage vows, no thought of her husband, and no fear of getting caught in school. The kiss led to the two of them making plans to meet in the mall parking lot after work one day. She said they met, and then they had sex in the car while parked in a public lot. She said shortly after this, they then met again in the hospital parking lot, which was adjacent to her school. The events after this have not been clear, even though I've asked numerous times. All I know is that she said they would have sex, she says oral, but we know that's a lie, in the classroom after school. She said they would lock the classroom door and then spend 15 minutes having sex. She said she would then leave and go home, only arriving shortly after her normal arrival time. This helped eliminate any questions from our two daughters who were still at home. This scenario continued until I came home in late November for the Thanksgiving holiday. She swears that she never saw him sexually when I was back in town. While I was home, we had our normal relationship, including the daily I love yous and the sex. The sex was remembered because I had been away and was so excited to be with her again. After the holiday, I left and returned to Texas. She continued to see shitbag and have sex after school. This continued until late December when I came home for the Christmas holidays. Once I arrived back home for the Christmas holidays, she again swears that she never had sexual contact with him while I was in town. I was oblivious to any danger to our relationship and had no thought of her being unfaithful to me. While home, we again had what I thought to be our normal relationship, with plenty of affection and telling me she missed me when I was gone. We also had our disagreements and moments of discontent with each other, which to me was normal for us. I made love to her frequently while I was home and ensured she was pleased as well. We took pictures together, smiling happily. We went out together and even attended a New Year's Eve party at one of her coworkers' apartments. I took several pictures of her smiling and looking like she was having a good time. At no point did I suspect that she was screwing another man while I was away. After the holidays, I returned to Texas to continue the job. While away, I called her daily and told her how much I loved her and how deeply I missed her. She always responded in kind to my comments. She never said she wasn't happy or she had found herself attracted to another man. Just the opposite. She would tell me she missed me and would ask when the job was going to be through. I continued to work in Texas until early spring, April, not coming home once after the Christmas holidays. Once the job was through and I returned home in the beginning of April, she again swears that she had no sexual contact with Shitbag while I was home. I hated being away from my family, so I decided to find local crane work. I took a job with a construction company in the local area. This new job allowed me to be home every night and on weekends. While I was home, our relationship had our arguments about normal stuff, but mostly about my drinking. I was going on and off my mental health medication and also self-medicating with alcohol. My mental health medications were being changed and adjusted as the doctor was trying to find the right medicine for my issues. The drinking and the lack of a continuous medication daily contributed greatly to my poor mental health. This resulted in more frequent arguments between she and I. I was angry at myself and didn't like who I was, but couldn't find the right way to emotionally deal with it. I was argumentative and mean to my wife at times. At other times, I was the normal, loving, and caring husband that she deserved. This became our normal cycle after a while. I wish it hadn't been that way, but it's the truth. Meanwhile, she continued her job at school and still maintained a working relationship with Shitbag, and they didn't have any sexual contact. It's still not clear whether or not the emotional affair was still active at this point. During the 2013 ESY, Shitbag would periodically ask her to take a ride after school. The purpose of the ride was so that he could have sex with my wife. He couldn't use the classroom because ESY was in a different school. She said she always said, "No, my husband's home." Again, she swears that she never had sexual contact with him while I was home. She should have given a better reason for her denial, like, "No, I'm married and can't do that anymore," or "No, leave me alone, I'm married." But no, she led him to believe it was strictly a no because I was in town. So if I was out of town, what would the answer have been? My local job was finished to the beginning of fall, October, and financially I needed to work. I'd been home in April, May, June, July, August, September, and most of October at this point. 7 months. Then I took another crane job out of state. This time the job was in Louisiana and was set to be 4 months. I hated to leave my family, to leave her and be away from the people that I loved. Nonetheless, the time came for me to leave again, and I left. This time I was gone November, December, January, and February. I came home for a few days for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. Again, while home, we had our normal relationship with the hugs and kisses and smiles of "I love you," holding hands while going out to dinner and giving her compliments as usual. At no point did she display that she had been or was interested in another man. According to her recollection, the affair fizzled out sometime during the first period I was home for 7 months. Again, while I was away, we had daily phone calls and text messages. I even found some "I love you" notes she packed away in my suitcase. I just remember hating each day I was away. Away from her, away from my kids and granddaughter. At times it was almost unbearable, but I knew I had to stick it out for my family. While I was away, we didn't argue much. For the most part, I was content in my marriage during this period. At the end of February, when the job was over, I went home for a week and then took a crane job not far from home, but far enough to require me to be away in a hotel again. Given the fact that the new job location wasn't too far, I asked her to come stay in the hotel with me for a day and night. She came and we had a great time. We talked and held each other and had passionate sex. When the time came for her to leave and go back to home, I was crushed. She again left me little love notes that I still have today and told me how much she loved me. I still remember this like it was yesterday. Again, she says during this period and the second period I was gone, the affair was over. In March of 2014, I took another local crane job and was once again at home. She continued her job in the school and still saw Shitbag daily in class while I was away. But she says the affair had ended before I left town back in October 2013. She seems to be unclear about this, but when asked if she had sex with him anymore after my 7-month stay at home in 2013, she said, "No." I continued to work locally for the next 7 months of 2014. She says shitbag left the school in July 2014 and she hasn't seen or talked to him since then. This guy was married, and he even admitted to her when his wife became pregnant around November 2013. She knowingly had sex with a married man with no regard for her vows to her husband and the damage she could be causing to his marriage and innocent wife. They both displayed a blatant disregard for anyone other than themselves and their desire for self-gratification. The most hurtful part of this is how she acted like we had a good marriage and she loved me. The whole time she did this, she was having sex with that shitbag. That hurts. How could she mislead me so blatantly and have such a disregard for my feelings? How could she risk